right, and welcome to the
Ew.
Jodi Day. Jodi Day. Look, Nick is alive. Nick is alive. He's doing well. I feel
Yeah.
really quiet in my headphones today for some reason. I don't know why,
Okay.
but I can hear everything. As long as you guys can hear me, we're good.
Yeah.
I forgot to delete the old intro with the old music, and I played that for a few seconds. That right there is going to be like, oh, copyright. So we're gonna have to fight that one. But I've deleted it now, so now we just have the good one.
Yeah.
Hey,
And yeah. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm popping out my chat window so I can put Dave's the link to Dave.
Yeah, we are dual streaming, so everyone knows if you're new here, we are dual streaming. We have a little friendly competition that I seem to be dominating between likes, super chats, and membership gifts. So if you all want to pop over to my channel as soon as Nick posts the link, and go ahead and give me a thumbs up and all that good stuff, gifts and memberships, and throw in a few super chats if you want to, not expected, but at least give me more than Nick. That's all I ask. And
Yeah.
Hey, Mats.
Yeah, hello everybody, and I see Gigi's here and everything.
Yeah, I went way down.
Gigi already had your link up.
Oh, look at that. Gigi is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Oh, I got to turn to live chat instead of top chat. I got to remember to do that. Live chat. All right, now we get it all. Now I can see everybody. But welcome. It's Jodi Day. It's Jodi Day. We can't seem to get past day 18, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's been a really, really rough. I mean, Tuesday. Well, the views on Tuesday were, to put it mildly, not good, because we were in competition with two different verdict watches.
I was going to say, there was a lot of people streaming.
Yeah, and so we don't count that day at all.
I was going to look and see what my rewatch was. I didn't even appear though on Tuesday. So, was there anything interesting that happened? Do we need to get caught up on something heinous that Jodi said or ridiculous?
Well, we heard from Jodi's own mouth that Travis called her the three-hole wonder.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now.
Yeah. So I mean, Mo died. We broke Mo on that.
That's awesome. I love that because that's the first time it's been brought up in trial, and we had seen it. We've heard about it. We heard that she was called that. We've seen it in the Lifetime movie that we watched on my Discord, but this is the first time that it was brought up, I think, in trial. And for it to come out of her mouth, that's awesome.
Oh, and she did not like that. And her defense lawyer dragged it out of her.
Yeah, and if you are a member on my chat, we do have access to a three-hole wonder emoji for Jodi. You also have her stabby knife too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and thank you to Peace Peony for gifting 5 memberships. And it went to Irish La Terrana Thing, Melissa Simak, Cindy J, Bobby Bologna, END.
Hey.
A few of you are completely new. Welcome. I will post a new link to the Discord because as members, you get access to my Discord.
Very cool. Waiting for that membership gift on my side? No, all right, it'll come later. All right. But let's get into Jodi. If you every Tuesday and Saturday at noon Eastern, 6 p.m. Swedish time, Nick and I stream rewatch of the Jodi Arias-Trial. We are on day 8, part 3. We have and Saturdays usually our longer day. We usually go a couple of hours. Tuesdays, just because we're in the middle of trials and stuff, is usually a shorter day. But we have about an hour and something left of day 18. And with some pauses and things like that, it might take up the whole stream, or we might get into a little bit of day 19. I will also say that Vielhammer has remastered this audio amazingly. We are using his feed for this stream, and so you might get a break or two in there with some of his information. But in the description, at least on my channel, is a link to his channel. So I recommend you guys go subscribe.
Yeah.
What's Discord like? Discord is amazing.
Yeah, my Discord is well, there's not as much nudity as over at Dave's Discord, but it's a good Discord.
We are not on Cross yet. Jodi's attorney is still asking her questions. I can't believe Three Hole Wonder came out during his questioning of her. Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, because she's trying to say that Travis was abusive and controlling and whatever. And I guess calling people names would be a controlling thing. Jung can probably speak more to that. But yeah, and it is great audio. Yes, I heard they made it. I posted, I think I tweeted out there. I said, I got a good playlist for that trial. They made an arrest in the Tupac murder. It's only been, what, 40 years? 30 years?
27 years.
Yeah.
And, well, it seems to be quite a good case since the suspect put out his memoirs in 2018, where he writes he provided the gun to the shooters. So yeah.
Maybe don't publicize that. There is no statute of limitation on murder.
Yeah.
Deathbed confessions are a thing because there's no statute of limitations on murder. Right? So, talk about it on your deathbed, not beforehand, because you might spend the rest of your life then in prison. Don't talk to anybody about anything ever. That's the rule, right?
Yeah, not even your lawyer. I mean, unless you're charged or
I have lots. Stray says I have lots to catch up on Tupac. Well, he died. He was shot during a drive-by, and a guy says he did it, or at least provided the gun for it.
Yeah, he was in the car and provided the gun to the shooter, and the 3 other people in the car are deceased. So he's the only one left, and he thought, let's cash in on this and write a book. And that book, if it sold anything, that money will go to Tupac's family.
Mitzi, to the right woman, it could be a compliment. I'm not a woman. I don't know if, well, I don't really have 3 holes, I guess, but I don't know how I feel about it if I was a woman. All right, we got 50 people here. I think that's a good number to start streaming. So we got about an hour, like I said, about an hour and 10 or so. We'll try to pause and not talk over things. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. If you're on rewatch, throw your questions in the comment section. I know I try to be responsive. I'm sure Nick is responsive to his comments as well. So we can get at it.
Maybe not Saturday mornings after a Friday evening bender, but I will try. Yeah.
Made against you in text messages.
Wait, hang on. I'm going to back that up.
And if you need him in the same, so be it.
There we go.
What were the accusations he made against you in text messages? And if you need a minute to look, please do.
Okay. There was
based off of her sex tapes, I would say yes. She probably thought it was a compliment. No, Mamasaurus Rex is in the chat.
Hey, hi, Mamasaurus. Corn Pope is over at my GG. Before I go, Ghostery.
I don't know how many examples you want because it's full of them.
MG. It's full of them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Counter
please be back
insults.
3:20.
Oh, this is where you ended. Okay.
We'll start promptly at that time. Please remember the admonition, you are excused.
Listen to that beautiful soundboard from Vielhammer. This is the quality that you get. By the way, he also did some really cool videos for Zachariah Anderson. You guys should check it out. Share those around.
Presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Mr. Nurmi, you may continue.
Thank you. Ms. Arias, before we delve too far into the text messages, I neglected to ask when you were talking about your friendship with Rachel Blaney and her suggestion that you go to the bishop. Did you have a conversation with Travis about her suggestion?
Yes, and just for the record, it's Rachel Bennett. Sorry.
Bennett, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was Rachel Bennett.
What's that?
It was. I think she's divorced.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Wait.
did she die?
You have this conversation with Rachel and you talked to Travis about it. And based on your conversation with Rachel, it sounded like you wanted to go to the bishop. Is that accurate?
I felt it necessary at that point based on what Rachel told me.
Did Travis want you to go to the bishop?
No.
What was your understanding of the reasons that he did not want you to go to the bishop?
He had had this problem before. It was embarrassing to him, and he did not want to go to his bishop. I offered, that's okay, that I'll just go to mine. And that's when I learned that if I go to my bishop, there's a high potential that his bishop, my bishop would call his bishop, and then he'd get called into the bishop's office, and that would create problems for him.
Why would that, what was your understanding of what problems that would create for him?
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. This is kind of interesting because I know that Travis' family and friends or something wrote a book about him where he's almost the second coming of Christ. But this part isn't really in it. That he has been in trouble with the bishop.
Yeah,
weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is weird, and it's weird. Well, and the other thing too is the prosecutor wrote a book, and a lot of his shenanigans and the things that he did aren't in the book either. So if you want to get a true story, that's why there's always like 7 sides to every story. You need to read as much as possible. By the way, in my Discord, we also have a book club, and I believe there's some links to some books on Jodi Arias. The one that the good friends of Travis wrote, I think, was also posted in there last week. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. Oh, and Annie is here.
Wasn't sure. I just know that he and Deanna had their temple recommends taken away at one point. That's what he told me because of the same activities.
What was your understanding of Mr. Alexander's, for lack of a better way of putting it, status in the church?
Well, I was actually real nervous about talking to him because he baptized me.
What was the understanding status?
She's explaining.
In order to baptize, you have to hold the priesthood. He was a holder of the Melchizedek priesthood, which is a greater priesthood. So my understanding of it at that time was that when you hold the priesthood, you're delegated with a certain authority to act for God. He had read the Book of Mormon 23 times at that point. He could quote hundreds of scriptures, maybe more from memory. He knew all the doctrine through and through. At least I believed he did, including what Mormons refer to as deep doctrine, which are types of doctrine that aren't immediately shared with non-members, if at all, and they aren't immediately shared with new members either, but maybe eventually, depending on their progress in the church. And I mean, he wore his temple garments. He went to the temple. He'd been a church member for over a decade. He baptized me. It just seemed like he was a lot farther along in his knowledge and authority in the church than I was. I hadn't even been a member for a year at this point, and a year is a significant milestone in the church.
How so?
After being a church member for a year, if you've lived worthily for that year, you are eligible to enter the temple.
So are you telling us then that you felt as if his knowledge was so much greater than yours, so his decisions on these issues or his beliefs on these issues were more informed than yours?
I believed he was superior to me in all matters of our mutual religion, and I understood his embarrassment, and I also understood, well, I believed that he understood where the line should be drawn as far as the law of chastity goes, and that, I don't know, I mean, we did go all the way like a few days before, so I knew that we had crossed that line, but I mean, I knew for certain, you know, all the other things aside, but I didn't want to cause any problems for him.
So after you had this discussion about telling the bishop, you wanted to, he didn't, and you didn't. Is that accurate?
Well, I can't really even say I wanted to. I felt like I had to. It was not like I was looking forward to it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Getting back to these text messages, and I know you've had a chance to look at them a little further. Rather than going backwards, perhaps, we'll go back in time and move towards 2008. Earlier during your testimony, we saw a couple pictures of that you testified were pictures of Mr. Alexander's penis that he had sent to you. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Having reviewed those text messages, are there other times in which he sent you pictures of his penis for erection?
Yes.
And do you remember when those were, having looked at the text messages? And if you need to refresh your recollection, just let us know.
Yes, they would have been February 2008.
Okay. And
Yeah, I imagine there would be a lot of pressure on you.
the messages you see, are those just the verbiage, or are there more pictures associated with those text messages you had before you?
There are pictures associated with these text messages, but the pictures aren't here, just the text.
Okay. How often did Mr. Alexander, well, we've heard of 2 occasions when he sent you a picture of his penis. Were there other occasions when he did
Just like
that?
There were other occasions.
Do you remember how many more?
Several, not tons, but there were many times.
Okay. What was that?
I mean, I couldn't count,
Okay,
somewhere around 10. I mean, over 10, under 20, I would say.
okay. Did you ever request these pictures?
Sometimes.
Why?
I requested pictures of him, but not his, you know, that, and if that's what you mean,
Sure you
Is
do.
that, what do you mean by that?
his penis.
Are you embarrassed to say penis?
Oh, yeah, well, in public, yeah.
Okay.
Only in the phone calls.
Yeah, she's
He
happy to
never
say it.
requested pictures
has
of his
other
penis,
words for
but
it.
he sent them to you. At the same time, having reviewed some of these text messages, were there times when he would request pictures of you that via text message?
Yes.
And having reviewed some of those text messages, and if you need to take a look at it, just let us know. When did those requests happen?
They happen many times, but these text messages show there was some on February.
I don't generally pick dick pics because then I have to use a wide angle and everything.
Yes, exactly.
February 25th, 2008.
Yes, he swept. We are live.
Now, looking at
I am
February
alive.
5th, 2008,
25th,
huh?
25th.
25th, excuse me, 2008. There are a series of messages. Well, let me ask you this. When you look at these messages, whose phone are these
Oh, he's so slow. Can I
based
bump
on?
it up
When
to
a message says
1.25?
incoming,
Yeah. Yeah.
does that mean incoming to your phone or incoming to Mr. Alexander's phone?
It would be incoming to Travis's phone, like a message he received.
Okay.
Look at that. You got a gifted
And
membership
on
from
the
GG.
20,
Yeah. Thank you, Gigi, for gifting 1 membership. Thank you so much.
Still
To
waiting on
Michael.
my gifted memberships. Oh, wait, I'm on Top Chat again. Why do I keep going to Top Chat?
5th
I
of
think everyone in
February
my chat,
2008,
except for Fedorowski, is a member.
it appears there were numerous text messages that day. Would that be fair to your recollection?
Yes, we were going back and forth
Baker's.
for the whole weekend, I think.
For what?
Almost the whole weekend.
Okay. And
We have Baker reading a portion of the Jody's messages, by the way.
Yeah, please spank me harder. Yeah.
if you look at those messages, one could get the impression that you were texting Travis and he wasn't texting you back. To your recollection of events, is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate.
Are there text messages that you sent Mr. Alexander that are not included in the data that is before you?
Yes, I was responding to him and he was responding to me back and forth for this entire thread, but all of his they must be deleted because they're not here.
Okay. You said, before we get into the content of some of these, you said that you were going back and forth that weekend. Was there something going on that weekend between you and Mr. Alexander that isn't reflected in these text messages?
Yes, well, it's not very detailed in the text messages.
Okay. Since it's not, please provide us that detail. Was there an argument? Was there a vacation? What was going on in the February 25th, or I guess it was a weekend? What was going on that weekend?
Well, it started as an invitation. He was going to take me somewhere I got some articles of organization for him to start an LLC, and he wanted me to do all the footwork for it, and he would pay to have it published. And so he said, by doing that, I want to take you out to dinner to this place that you'll really love. And he didn't want to tell me where it was. He just said, it's something totally you'd love it. And so it was something he kind of talked up a little. And
I
wasn't,
asked Mo if
set
she
in
ever
stone.
heard about that, and then I had to describe it to her, and she almost died again.
Yes.
Soaking and provo. Yeah, it was hilarious.
I do. So I want to have Jodi, like maybe we could do a Q&A with Jodi in my Discord or something, or we could do it at some point. But I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Like, is the Provo push a real thing? And how common? Oh, I just have so many questions.
This date, but I guess it was in his mind. Otherwise, I would have never taken off because it sounded like a fun date. But instead, I was talking to Gus Searcy, and he was doing a presentation in Las Vegas. And I went out there for the weekend to see the presentation and go to a few things, just shows and things around in Las Vegas, just a weekend to relax a little bit. And I didn't tell Travis I was going, and he got very upset about it and offended and hurt that he accused me of ditching out on our date.
Okay. So this was the reason for the flurry of text messages then?
No, actually, because what happened was after that argument, he apologized and I apologized because I felt like, I didn't mean to skip out on this date. I didn't understand that it was set in stone. So I felt really bad because he seemed very upset about it. And after that, just like almost always after we're done apologizing, it led to something sexual. And so we started going back and forth on our text messages, and they got dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. And so it was kind of like just foreplay too when I got back to Mesa.
They're making everybody moist.
You mentioned,
We had a lot of Jamie quotes.
like it always does, it got sexual after an argument. And you mentioned makeup sex before. Why did it get, from your perspective, why did it get sexual after an argument?
Travis had this cute little term called de-stressing, and I thought that was interesting. So it's something we began to, it was like a code word in our relationship. So when he was stressed out, his way to de-stress would be sex. So arguments were stressful, and that was a good way to blow off steam and feel better afterward.
Well, isn't it?
By sex, are we including oral sex, anal sex, or vaginal sex? Is that what,
Yeah, all of the above.
all the above was de-stressing?
Well, whatever the activity entailed that day.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you were in Vegas. And from what you told us earlier, you said it became sexual,
anal
and you said
sex.
he was at
Family. I mean,
Sorry, say that again.
as soon as she says anything about having any kind of sex, they pan over to the family. I mean,
I know they do that. The cameraman. This was was this Court TV? I think this was Court TV.
Mm.
And yeah, the cameraman had or the producer, whoever that would cut the feed, had an innate ability to pan over to the family when anything like, oh, here's a picture of Travis completely nude, show the family. The entire time. It was awesome. Indigo Baker is a little stressed out over here. He might need Travis style of stress relief.
asking for pictures that day?
Yes.
Okay. And by pictures, would I be correct in assuming we're talking about nude photographs?
Yes.
Okay. And when you received these requests from Mr. Alexander for nude photographs of yourself, where were you?
I was hanging out with Gus in his motorhome. We were watching The Prestige.
When
I'm glad you're
Mr.
here live with
Alexander
us.
sent you the text messages requesting dirty pictures, did you have dirty pictures, as you said?
Dirty
Did you
pictures.
have those on your phone?
No, I didn't keep him on my phone.
Okay. So
She had to upload them.
did the request then involve making a new current picture of yourself?
In order to fulfill the request, I would have had to.
Which one of the pictures are we going to see?
Did you end up fulfilling that request?
I did my best.
And I know it might be embarrassing, but what did you do to do your best?
Obviously, I'm not going to do anything like that with Gus there. So I went into the bathroom, and it's a motorhome. It's a very small, cramped bathroom. And he wanted photo, and the lighting was poor. I just did the best I could.
What did he want a photo of?
My butt.
This is just a funny way to say that. I don't
Remove
know.
your
It's just-
clothing to
oh,
take a
my
picture of your buttocks for Mr. Alexander?
Not all my clothing, just my pants.
Okay.
My underwear.
What was that?
Just my pants and my underwear.
Why do you do that?
As if you didn't do
Because
it
he
yourself,
responded
sir.
positively or favorably toward those things. So there was incentive in that regard.
Okay.
How many pictures do you think this attorney has of his own ass on his phone right now as we speak?
oh,
He's just I don't know. It's to act like this stuff doesn't happen throughout this entire trial. This is 2013. And to act that this stuff doesn't happen is just amazing. Like everything she said is like so erotic, so whatever out there. It's really not.
Before we move off the subject, did you fulfill requests like this more than this one occasion?
Happy Jodi Day.
Yes.
Can you recall another occasion
During the
when you
trial
were asked to
and
do
right
this?
now.
I'm drawing a blank. I know that was something that happened in our relationship, but I'm drawing a blank.
Okay. It wasn't uncommon for you then to get these requests and go off to fulfill them. Is that fair to say?
It wasn't uncommon, but it wasn't very frequent.
Okay. But you never stored these photos on your phone. Is that what you were telling us before?
They got deleted, yes.
Okay. So were they all requests? Did he request that you send pictures of particular body parts and at different occasions?
He only requested that specifically, that I remember.
Okay. How did you feel doing that?
Kind of like a voyeur a little bit. I mean, it wasn't, I don't know. I felt a little awkward. Like if it was a picture that wasn't very flattering, I would delete it and try again and delete it and try again. And if it was like, okay, that one looks, he'll like that one. So I would send it. And it wasn't so much that was uncomfortable, but it was outweighed by the fact that I liked his response in return.
And so when you sent him these pictures, you see in these text messages positive responses from him, or are those not present as it relates to February 25th?
His responses are not present, but I did receive positive. Well, they were not angry or negative by any means.
When you say positive response, what are we talking about? And if you need to look back at the entire dialogue of that day, please do so.
Well, I can see that I'm responding to things he said, and we were trying to top each other. His responses aren't here, but there are different things that we're talking about.
I miss this guy.
Would it be fair to characterize his responses on that day as sexual?
Yes, exactly that.
Okay.
Flux is here.
Flux. Welcome, Flux. Welcome.
One of the things that we spoke about earlier was, well, let me ask you this. Did he send you, looking at these text messages, did he send you other text messages of a sexual nature?
Yes, he did.
Can you recall any of those for us?
There's one in here. I mean, I can find it if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay.
I once bought a used Blu-ray player, and the previous owners, a couple, did not erase either the hard drive or the history.
That's awesome.
That was interesting, and I learned more about BDSM than I ever thought I would.
Wow.
Yeah, for research purposes, of course. Yeah, so if you save your private images and videos on a Blu-ray player and a hard drive and then sell it, erase everything first. Not legal advice.
All right, I put a new poll up based on Dan's chat. Does Jodi's attorney still have nude pics of Jodi on his phone? Who's ready for a retrial of Millie? When's that happening?
I think they're starting next week.
Really?
Sometime. Yeah. So they are giving it a new go. But I won't be covering that because I have my Young Thug trial coming up end of October. Probably.
Is that actually going to start?
Yeah, according to the defense, they think they will start end of October because it seems like they have most of the jury selection done.
Oh, all right. Very cool.
And that would be a 6-month trial. So
I was looking at the Garbage Can Baby trial that was supposed to start October 2nd coming up. But that one ended up getting pushed to next year. So now I'm looking for something in October, but November we're starting the Black Swan trial, which that one's going to be interesting. Yeah. She's crazy from what I hear.
Yeah.
She's like Jodi Arias kind of crazy, not like Letitia Stout crazy. So it should be fun, not like cringy. Hopefully.
Yeah, and I think the Young Thug trial will be interesting since it's a RICO trial, and it's the same DA as in the Trump case. So
My family is going to be very disappointed in my pictures and searches.
I'm not finding the one
I
was
can
looking for.
imagine, Indigo.
Jody, let me back up a step then and ask you this.
So Black Swan, I can't remember her name, out of Florida. She's a ballerina, fairly famous, prominent one. Opened up a dancing school and stuff like that. She married a guy after like knowing him for like 14 days.
oh yeah,
She was estranged from him. She claimed self-defense when she shot him to death in 2020. The court denied her self-defense claim, and now it's going to trial. But from what I hear, she's all kinds of Jodi like crazy. So it should be a fun trial. So subscribe and follow me on Discord. And there's a bunch of stuff that we put in Discord as well on this trial already.
Apart from the sexual text messages, well, let me ask you this. We talked about, before we completely get off this sexual text messages,
I think.
Did he ever ask you, ever make reference or request of you to wear your hair in braids in these text messages?
Yes.
We've already covered this on like day one.
Do you ever remember him making specific requests to you via text message to wear the Spider-Man underwear?
I remember making requests. I don't know if it was over text or the phone, but I remember responding about them in the text messages.
I think she wanted to wear those because go back 10 seconds how she words her response.
Well, look at this
10,
face.
15 seconds.
We'll go back. All right, yeah, let's listen to this. Plus, I'll also say, her in the phone sex conversation, the recordings, I think she definitely wanted to wear these things. She wanted to do all kinds of stuff, things that she thought were crazy, risky sex stuff, like wearing underwear.
I remember him making specific requests to you via text message to wear the Spider-Man underwear.
I remember making requests. I don't know if it was over text or the phone, but I
remember making requests. She's talking. Yeah, did you hear that?
Let me back that up. Okay, I get it now. Hang on. I remember making requests. That's what the transcript says, or the CC. Let's see. I'm gonna close my eyes.
I remember making requests. I don't know if it was over text or the phone, but I remember responding about them.
And then she changed. Then she adds responding. I say she was truthful in the first half. Then, oopsie. I have to say,
you told us about
I remember the request.
Trip you made to Walgreens in order to obtain candy that would be used as sexual props. Do you remember sending or receiving a text message related to that?
Okay,
I remember sending and receiving text messages that night. I don't know if we were referring to the Pop Rocks, or I think it was more about how I'm not comfortable going into the store.
Ooh,
I think I put because I'm dressed like a slut.
Okay.
I've been saving this. Okay. So
Did you?
they talked about Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops. She bought Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks because they were going to use it. And some people asked, apparently, this isn't worldwide. This is a Tootsie Pop. And so I got this when I was down in Texas. I was like, oh, I'm going to save it. So I have my Jodi Tootsie Pop to eat while during the stream.
Did Travis ever send you text messages in which he was, and I forget the words you used earlier, so I'm just going to say that if he was mean to you?
Yes.
In these text messages. Recount for us, if you will, times that he was mean to you in these text messages.
Can I look at the text messages? Yes. Okay. He got meaner after I moved, so skipped it out.
I should have got some Pop Rocks.
I'm not comfortable with anything that fizzles around my nether regions. Yeah,
it's kind of weird. So Pop Rocks are like a crushed up candy, but you put it in your mouth on your tongue and it pops and it fizzles and stuff like that. Apparently, they're incorporating it somewhere else. Peace Pony with $5 super chat. Sharing the love over here, just not Jodi kind of love. Well, we all like the Jodi kind of love up to a certain point, right? But thank you very much for the $5 super chat. We're doing on the likes. We got to get the likes up over on MLS. Everyone that's watching on Nick's got to jump over and hit the like button on MLS.
And everybody over at Dave's needs to hop over to my channel and give me the thumbs up.
No, you can ignore that request. They do make Pop Rocks, though, actually. My kids used to get them.
After listening to Jodi, I don't want it.
Don't they have Pop Rocks in Sweden? Don't they?
No, I don't think so.
Huh.
No.
They have Tutti Frutti.
Yeah.
I had ice cream with Tutti Frutti on it, which is really weird.
You should have had the licorice ice cream.
They had licorice topping for the ice cream. Yeah. I love black licorice, which is actually licorice. The red stuff is not actually licorice. But I don't like the salty stuff you guys eat. That's gross. Salty black licorice is the worst thing in the world. And then there's stuff with pepper in it. You get peppery, salty black licorice. Oh God, I can't even put it in my mouth. I think about it right now. And
have you ever tried djungelvrål?
No, maybe I don't know what that is.
Oh, if you would remember it when you get here in December, January.
Okay.
We will have a live stream where you try djungelvrål. Yeah.
God. All right, we'll do that. No, black licorice is awesome. The only way you can generally get it like at a normal store is buying.
So those text messages you have in front.
Good is it Good and Plenty's, which is black licorice candy coated. It's really good, but I love black licorice.
Are they dated?
Yes.
You take a look at the text messages related to the time around March 30th of 2008.
It's good for you.
Yeah. If you want to reference the number, you can look at that.
No, just review them and describe for us what Mr. Alexander was conveying to you.
Oh, really weird. I'll bring Nick some Pop Rocks and he can give me whatever the hell that is. I have a feeling mine will taste better.
There are YouTube channels out there that tests Swedish candy, and once in a while they try djungelvrål, and the reaction is interesting.
We were somewhere in Sweden, I can't remember, but they were selling these salty chocolate balls, and I just kept thinking of the South Park episode with Chef.
It's a fight that started because I hung up on him because he was swearing at me.
To your understanding, why was Mr. Alexander swearing at you?
He was swearing because he got upset. I don't really remember what this argument was about. There were so many, but he mentioned something about something having to do with prepaid legal.
And was he mad at you or mad in general related to something at prepaid legal?
It appears that he was mad at me because I was stressing him out because I made a comment about not making Players Club, which is monthly qualification. The Players Club is,
and Nick, if you don't know the song
specifically now, it's been so long, but it was
I know the song.
A level of production. They counted certain memberships that you sold or recruits as counters, and so a certain number of counters each month got you into
Put them
Players
in your
Club.
mouth and suck them.
And I got a little confused there. He was mad at you for commenting on how he didn't get into Players Club?
I didn't. He said here I was moaning about it, but I think I just mentioned it. I don't remember moaning about it.
You don't remember what?
He says he was talking about how I was moaning about not making Players Club.
Okay. About
Moaning?
him not making.
About me not making Players Club.
How do you moan in? I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense. Moaning about it.
And so
He always made Players Club.
what's that?
He always made Players Club.
Okay. And that Players Club is a level in prepaid legal?
It's more a qualification. It doesn't have to do with your actual level. You can be any level and be in Players Club or not, I think.
Okay. So he was mad
He
at
did it so
you
he could always.
making Players Club?
I'm a
No, he
player.
was mad at,
Wait, what's that?
Well, he always made the Players Club so he could genuinely tell everybody that he's a player.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he told Jody that he was a player. Yeah, moaning it is bitching about it. Yes, I get that, but it's just a weird way to say it.
Yeah, moaning, whining.
me bringing up the fact.
Yeah, whining and bitching, I get.
Yeah.
But moaning, especially in the context of Jodi Arias and all these other texts, has a different connotation. Players Club. Whatever.
That I didn't make Players Club that month.
Okay. And that yelled,
Yeah,
that led
I agree.
to him cussing at you
Yes, I hung up because he started swearing.
in general or at you? Was he calling you names? Do you remember what he said?
I don't remember.
Excuse me while I
but he was
whip
being
it
very
out.
negative toward me, and I didn't like listening to it, so I hung up so I didn't have to hear it anymore.
Was it hard on you to hang up on him?
Yes, very hard.
Oh,
Had he hung up on you before?
Yeah, you're right. Okay, bitching and moaning is a phrase, but he didn't say bitching and moaning. Again, we're not seeing the text messages. She's just testifying into what he said, and he said moaning. He didn't say bitching and moaning. He just said moaning.
I think he has. Nothing really stands out, but yeah, I'm sure he has.
It's just a weird way to say it. That's all I was pointing out.
When you hung up on him, how did he react? Is that what we see in the text messages? Without telling us what he said, is that what we see in the text messages, his reaction?
It's not about hanging up. It's more about just more of the same that he was talking about in the conversation that caused me to hang up.
Okay. Was this commentary on your
He
abilities
leaves her
within prepaid
so
legal?
much.
No, it was
Leaves her so
about,
much.
he's accusing me of stressing him out.
So when you brought up your problems to him, he accused you of stressing him out and began yelling at you. Is that right?
Yes, but I don't think that's what the conversation was supposed to be about. It appears that I was trying to tell him something that would be to his benefit, not advice, but a piece of information that he could use.
Okay.
That doesn't work like that, Stray. I'll call you out wherever you are.
Earlier you had mentioned, I'm going to draw your attention to 4/8 of 08.
It's not. You can't slam the receiver down anymore. Like,
And there's a text message there that lasts about does last more than an entire page at timestamp 1921. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Why does he keep smelling his finger?
Was that the reference to the argument you had earlier?
you smell this? Yeah, well, it kind of is. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Was that the reference to the argument you had earlier about this person that was Michelle or Mimi or Marie?
It was
Is that-
Marie. It was Marie, but this is a completely new argument about
Okay.
something different the next day.
What is this argument about then the next day?
Before I left his house, the day I pulled out of his house, I wish I could remember what it was because it's sentimental, but he had some kind of drawing or something
How many days has she
that he
been
was
on
giving
this
to me.
stand?
And because he was giving it to me, I asked him to sign it
She
and
went
he
up on
signed it.
day
And so something nice
13.
on it.
This is day
And
18.
I forgot it as I was leaving. It was just a spacey thing that I did. And he got very upset and accused me of being rude and insensitive and dramatic.
And dramatic. Sorry. I just wanted to get in there that Indigo gifted me one membership and
Hey.
Rachel Hope received it. So thank you very much. for the gifted membership. Rachel, if you are in the chat and you are new, I think you're new. I don't recognize your name, but people change their names all the time. Check out my membership tab, which will take you to a link for my Discord, and that's where we have all of our member content. And if you guys, anyone's new, that's where my member content is.
Because I left it. He thought I left it behind on purpose. Like I was trying to tell him something, but it was really
So
just
this
something
is
I
day
forgot to take
5
with
of
me.
her on the stand.
Okay. And he was upset with you about that for getting it?
Yeah, he was very mad. He thought that because he had signed it, now he can't give it to anybody else. So it's like, and
Yep.
I don't know, I guess because I didn't take it, he thought I didn't want it, but I did want it. I just forgot it.
Okay. And I don't understand why he was angry. Did you ever explain to him that you just forgot it?
Yeah, I explained extensively here that it was just an honest mistake. I just forgot it. I forgot about it. There were so many other things going on when I was leaving.
That was the day you were having the fight,
Yes,
and he was flipping you off as you were leaving, right?
yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what I did.
And I guess I'm a little confused, and maybe you can enlighten us. What was the big deal? Why couldn't it just be mailed to you or brought up to you?
Indigo
Thank
gave
you, Indigo, for gifting a membership to Rachel Hope Brintesen Engelhardt. Hey.
Yeah, what Nick said. So she's a member on both channels now.
Yay!
You when he was coming to Wairika?
I don't know. He mailed other things to me after I moved, and there were plans for him to come to Wairika. It was paper, whatever it was that I'm trying to remember what it was. So he felt that it was just another dramatic thing that I did, and I don't know. He was kind of a bully about it.
Kind of a what?
A bully. It's just more bullying.
Does he smell his finger? Does he smell his finger?
Does Jodi
I
think
want
that
to
her
move
testimony
away
is
from the
worth-
text messages,
Oh my God, those were so boring
And,
text messages. I want more boring text messages.
show you what has been marked as exhibit
I
399.
think I was
on the
sold a
approach.
little too hard on this trial by
Yeah.
the news media. There's all kinds of sexy shenanigans going on.
Take a look at that for us,
Yeah,
Ms.
but
Arias.
that's once every second day,
See
maybe.
if you recognize
Yeah.
that.
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
It's just a little rhyme that I wrote
I
when
want
I was
some
up
deep
very
pic.
late when I sent it to him.
I want
Just
some sexy
to be silly.
messaging.
Him being home.
Travis.
And do you recall from looking at that when you sent that particular item?
I sent it on May 19th, 2008 at 3:15 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, Amy, I can't wait for Cross either.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking too. Okay.
That guy has his pajamas as a tie.
Wait, which guy?
The guy in the middle, back middle.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see him here with the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But somebody was saying someone else in the trial in the audience was looking weird. And I can't remember what it was now. It was so long ago. Travis's sister. I hope she starts eating after the trial.
Yeah.
Because she looks emaciated.
No objection.
$3.99 is admitted.
You mentioned you sent this at about 3:15 in the morning. Was that when you wrote it?
Right before that.
Okay.
I just composed it real fast, just being silly.
What's that?
I just composed it really fast, just trying to think of something that would rhyme.
And
I grew up close
Why did
to
you
the
feel-
Norwegian border, so Brintesen is, yeah.
Well, yeah, I wasn't even going to attempt that. Rachel
No.
Hope. I'm good with Rachel. I'll just call you Rachel. I was saying that yesterday too. I find the first name and I stick with it. The first name I can pronounce, and that's what you're being called.
inspired to write a poem to Mr. Alexander.
Sometimes just a little line will come to my mind that rhymes, so I'll just build on that. And also he was a good poet too.
He was what?
He was a good poet.
Judge, rather than display it on the display, I'd requested to be published by having Ms. Arias read it.
Maybe so.
Salvador, have you tracked down Jodi's
read your
sister?
poem.
Made contact?
Do you want me to read the first sentence that's not part of the poem?
No, just the poem, please.
Okay. It says, "How doth the mind of the Lord see it fitting that I should be bored, that I might compose some poetry and send it speedily off to thee. But I think it's that, in fact, if I am bored, then I must act, for it is my own restless mind that has responded this way in kind. And for that boredom of which I speak, I am still grateful, for it's not bleak. I am still happy, for there is much I can still do for it and such, like send an email after 3 and read another book, you see. So here's to wishing you a time that's full of happiness and rhyme. May your days be full of stimulation, and not just in simulation, but in reality, just the way you'd have it be.
I'm gonna come.
Jamie, so bad.
What were you hoping? How are you hoping that
Yes,
poem would be
very boring.
received?
That's the actual drop I was
The
looking
same way
for.
my previous poems had been received. He
The boring
expressed, gratitude, awe,
I can't
just
find
something
it.
positive usually. He complimented me.
Oh, there we go.
Boring.
That's the one I was looking for.
In May of 2008, we had talked about some of the things. You mentioned helping him incorporate. You mentioned acting as his maid. You mentioned helping him in his
maid.
prepaid legal business.
She cleaned up around the house every once in a while.
Were you when you lived in Wairika, did you help him with any of his philanthropic adventures?
Can you be more specific?
And if I may approach again. For the record, I'm going to show this area where it's been marked exhibit number 406. Please review this entire document to yourself. Let us know when you're done.
Just sit here while I'm jumping ahead. We don't need to sit here and have her read.
What was this subject matter of that email or your discussion?
There were several.
So he hired her like Jerry Seinfeld hires mates. She came over. They did the twiddly-dee. Then she cleaned the house and he left her money on the nightstand. That's not hiring a maid. Sorry, it's just not. Oh, you were employed as a maid.
Subjects. Part of it was I was
That makes
expressing
her a whore.
just the discontent that I had in the past about our relationship having never been public, and the expressing my discontent about the constant shadow that Deanna always casted, probably unknowingly, over our relationship at that time, and how we had to hide it from her. And he started a website. I started a website with my photography at that time, and he told me that he would post a link to my website on his page, on his website. And I said, I'll do the same for you. And then when it came down to it, he kept stalling and saying, oh, I have to talk to Sean. I have to talk to Sean. That was the guy who was helping with his web hosting. And so I kind of got the sense that he didn't want to do it because he was getting pressure from his friends about our friendship and just different things, a bunch of things. I just felt like I want to just take the pressure off him. Like, if it's that hard to be friends, let's just cool it a little bit. Like, I still wanted to be his friend, but I didn't want him to feel like that our friendship had to be a burden.
Okay. And when did you send that email?
May 16th, 2008, a little after midnight.
Nick, do you want to read your poem live on stream?
There once was a gal named Jodi, whose spirit was always so free. With a wink and a smile, she'd dance all the while. Then she went all stabby, stabby.
I feel like you made that up, and that is so much better than what the poem that Jodi just read.
I had some assistance by the ChatGPT.
Oh, did you really? Oh, but
yeah.
that's awesome.
ChatGPT didn't want to add in stabby, stabby, so that's my bit.
There you go. All right, so it's 100% yours.
It's after midnight.
Okay. And you sent that to Mr.
I
Alexander?
like a sea shanty.
We're going to move to exhibit 406.
No, he's going to have her read another book before he asks her 2 questions about it.
Session, dear sir.
Let's see. Wait, what is that? So I asked. I accidentally paused the stream and found that there's a straight up orgy in the back row behind. What? I might have to pause. I might have to go back and pause it now, Bobby. Tell me the minute. Give me a timestamp for that.
Ms. Arias, I want to ask you about a couple of things you said in this email, just so we have an understanding of exactly what you meant in certain areas.
Oh,
I want to begin with
my mind is in the gutter today, guys.
the second.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
the portion of the letter that begins with directly follows "here goes."
Okay.
Okay. You say to Travis, I realize after further introspection why it is that I asked you to give me a little mention in your next post as credit for the task of editing and grammar and typing the lengthy thing out. What's that a reference to?
Travis was writing a book on personal development and being a better person.
And from what the sentence would say, then it sounds like you were editing that book, or could you describe that for us?
His friend Katie Barnes had edited and typed the introduction, and he asked if I would edit and type the first chapter.
And you say Katie Barnes, this is the Katie that's referenced here?
Yes.
Okay.
It makes more sense in my mind for it to be orgy over.
Sounds like looking at it, you said, it's much longer. It would make me feel good to have a little recognition thrown my way. Were you hurt by the fact that she got recognition that you didn't?
I wouldn't say hurt. I was a little bugged. I mean, the intro was very short, and he wrote special thanks to Katie Barnes, and I thought, that's nice of him. And then I joked actually about it. I didn't think he would, because I don't know. But I said, make sure you put special thanks to Jodi Arias, just as a joke. And he said, I can't do that.
And what was your understanding of why he couldn't do that?
His friends, the Hugheses, gave him a hard time, and he said that they made his life hell whenever he would talk about our friendship.
So at this point in time, at least at some level then, it wasn't just the sex that was a secret, but it was your friendship altogether.
Yeah, our very association had to be a secret now from then.
Okay.
He was ashamed of you. He was using you. Got it. Doesn't justify the
You
stabby bits.
And I'm looking down here with this sentence. It begins with but you see that?
Yes.
Where I pointed to? But my cry for a little recognition comes from a place within me that feels it was never adequately gratified and that it thirsted to be validated. Not just as some girlfriend, but as
Jesus Christ, what a wall of text. I mean,
what do you mean by that?
No, if I got that email, I would not read it.
Well, almost the entire time I'd known him, the extent of our association was a secret. So I just tolerated it, and I tried not to let it bother me by not thinking about it. And so when he said, I can't do that, and now we're not even boyfriend, girlfriend anymore, and he still can't do that, or claims he can't, I realized how much it kind of bugged me. I didn't realize it until I was walking to work one day and thinking about the phone call we just had. And so when I got back from work, I composed that email.
Okay. Was there ever consideration, this is May 16th, 2008, was there ever consideration to the fact that, we're having phone sex, we're talking, I'm doing this work for him, he still doesn't want to recognize me as his friend. Is there ever a thought in your mind saying, okay, I'm done with this guy, I don't want to be friends with this guy anymore, I don't want to associate with him anymore?
No, I never thought anything extreme like that.
Why would that have been extreme to you?
Well, Travis and I had been through a lot, so I couldn't foresee us
That's a good catch, Amy.
I couldn't foresee myself completely exiling him from my life. I just wanted us both to be happy, and I wanted things to be cordial between us.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Do they not understand the concept of paragraphs? Or kids these days that break up, every sentence is a new paragraph. That's really annoying too.
At the first paragraph of this next page.
Okay. I have a huge pet peeve. I hate left justifications in text. It needs to be justified on both sides. That little indent all the way down the right side is infuriating to me. I don't know why. Just had to get that out there. Don't ever send me anything that's not justified on both sides.
You say that you find yourself now wishing to be recognized as your friend, referring to Travis.
Oh, I forgot.
But you talk about the recognition within his entire circle of friends. Sounds to me like it was more than just Chris and Scott Hughes.
Yeah, I guess it was. I didn't have anyone specific in mind, but I knew that there were, how do I put it? I guess I knew that like he was, I really don't know what I meant by that. I just wanted to be able to be open about our friendship in public and like, hey, we're friends at school, you know,
Okay.
not just all this drama that we had been going through.
Okay.
Yeah, I know by
you
saying
talk
it, I'm going to get
about-
everything right justified now. Or like centered.
His mode of operation with Deanna. Before we go into what you say about it,
At
what do you
least
mean when you say his mode of
punctuation, then
operation
new
with
line. I mean, that isn't hard.
Yeah, I know, right?
Deanna?
He had to constantly hide me from Deanna. Even after we broke up, there were times when I was dropping him off at his house after I moved to Mesa, and he said, Deanna's there. Make sure she doesn't see your car, park it down the street and drop me off. And I thought, we're not even dating. He said, it won't matter to her. She'll freak out. So, and then when we came back from Oklahoma City in 2008, he dropped me off at a quick stop in the middle of the night in North Phoenix, because he had to swing by Deanna's house to pick up his dog Napoleon because she was babysitting him. He didn't want me to go with him because he didn't want her to know that we had went on the trip together.
This,
No,
you know,
right
you've
and
spoken
left
a couple different times
right
now
and left justified. Both
about how, you know, he said Deanna would get crazy or she'd be upset or things of that nature. Did you ever see any evidence on Miss Reed's part that she acted in a way that supported the concerns Travis was expressing to you?
I saw something that I thought was kind of odd, but maybe not quite to the extreme. I felt Travis was exaggerating, even though the behavior to me was odd.
Okay. What was that behavior?
At the beginning of October 2006, Travis left for General Conference, which is a twice yearly event that happens in the church, where all the general authorities in the church, including the president of the church, get together at the conference center in Salt Lake City, and they give talks and different things. And the whole event happens, I think, on a Saturday and Sunday, and it is streamed live and broadcast around the world for all church members and non-church members who are curious. The conference center is huge, and there was a new one recently built. I mean, within the last, it's somewhat new. And Travis had an opportunity to go to this conference that time with some friends from his church. And unless he traveled to California, he would usually leave Napoleon at home. So he needed somebody to watch his dog because he felt that Napoleon could get lonely. His roommates didn't pay a lot of attention to him. So he asked if I would stay at his house to pet sit for the weekend. And so I did that. And one night, the following weekend was when we were going to New Mexico. So I knew that trip was already planned. And I was at his house. I got this chocolate chip cookie recipe from the pastry chef at Ventana to try out this recipe for cookies, to see if it was cheap, to see if we could just take a whole bag of cookies on our trip, because we didn't have a lot of money, but that would have been a way to just eat partially on our trip. So I'm baking these cookies. I'm sitting down watching TV. Napoleon's sitting next to me on the couch. John Hepworth is there, but he stepped outside. He was on the phone and he went out the front door and stepped outside. And then all of a sudden the front door opens, and I thought at first it was John. Napoleon goes flying off the couch, barking and running toward the front door. And then I hear a woman's voice, but the lights were turned off in the entryway, so I didn't see who it was. And for some reason I thought it might've been John's wife, because he had been talking to her. She lived in Utah and he couldn't go to Utah for some legal reason at that time. So, but then she came into view and I recognized her as Deanna. And it was kind of awkward. I actually was a little bit scared because of the things that Travis had said about her. And I mean, all the information I had was from Travis and the Hugheses about her, and most of it was negative. So she said hi, and I said, I'd never officially met her or even interacted with her personally. So I said, you're Deanna, right? She said, yeah. And I said, I'm Jodi. She said, I know who you are. And not in a rude way or anything, just kind of.
Oh
brief.
my God, so much detail.
Then all of a sudden she ran upstairs, or she said she ran upstairs into his room and shut the door and stayed in there for about 10 minutes. But by this time, I mean, we're in East Mesa and she lived in North Phoenix. I told her Travis isn't here, and she said, I know. So she knew he wasn't home, but she came over to his house and walked in the door and ran up to his room and shut the door and locked herself in there for 10 minutes. So I didn't know what to do. I just sat down on the couch and waited,
Talks like
kept
a
watching
teenager.
TV. And about 10 minutes later, maybe 15, she comes out of the room, comes downstairs, goes into his office and shuts the door there. And I don't know if she locked it or not. I think Napoleon went into the office with her that time. And I'm thinking, what's going on? So I just waited, and then she came out of the office and walked into the kitchen and looked around. And unfortunately, I didn't scale the recipe down. It was a restaurant recipe, so I had tons of cookies already that I didn't think to refrigerate the dough. So she's looking around, and there's cookies everywhere, and there's more in the oven and more on the tray ready to go in the oven.
I hate this
And
woman.
I offered her some cookies, and she declined, and she said she was just in town for someone's birthday, and that she just came by because she was looking for a book. And so after that, she left empty-handed.
What the hell was the question?
Okay. And in terms of did Travis comment on Deanna's reaction to that event?
Yes.
Did he lead you to believe that she was upset or angry?
Yes.
Did you see that in her behavior?
No, she seemed friendly. Other than that, other than her behavior, her demeanor seemed kind of normal.
Nope. No
Nice.
chance in hell that the attorney told her to get that level of detail. He told her to keep your answers short, sweet, to the point, answer freaking questions that I ask you. That's what he told her. She has a hard time doing that.
Sounds similar to the situation when you walked in and Lisa Andrews saw you, right?
I don't know what was asked.
Deanna didn't turn and leave. She stayed for a while.
I don't know what
Right.
she said. Turned into white noise. By the way, this is how you justify.
You talk about Travis didn't want to deal with Deanna's interrogations and emotions.
Wait. That's
Yeah.
how you justify?
No, that's an old article I wrote for about the surveillance tax.
Okay.
Straight. I mean, it's
Great
not
on
hard.
both sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then I had a
Then
question from the
Yeah.
who,
And you
I
see,
can't-
here you can do all of that all by
centering.
itself. Yeah,
Yep.
centering and everything. It's really, really easy.
This is what I do. So I
Yeah.
have the indentation for the paragraphs.
Yeah.
But it's right and left justified. That's, Nick and I are 6 of one, half dozen of another at this point. But yeah. All right. Okay.
Interrogating Travis about what?
About you or about anything.
I actually saw one incident when we were on our first history trip, or I saw him venting to his grandmother over the phone about the incident.
But not her.
Nothing from her exactly. Directly, no.
No.
You
Matt,
say
you're
right
just
here, this
wrong.
paragraph beginning with well. Well, I'm going to make it easier for you.
See? Look. See, I agree with 20th century. Look at that compared to now I gotta get it. Compared to this, right? Doesn't it look better justified on both sides? And if you say no, you're lying, Matt.
But look at that, how she ends the first line. And all punctuation, and then new line. I mean, no, there you go to a new line. I mean,
oh yeah, right down here, or yeah, right here.
Yeah.
And then okay, so yeah, right here. This is what you're talking about. The I,
And it looks like
the I, and then values.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a problem. I need to get that.
this is how you write if you're supposed to get as many letters into an article or something.
Yeah.
Because when you write an article for a newspaper, they only allow either 1,500 or 3,000 or 4,500. And then you might have to cramp it up a bit. But if you cramp it up too much, they will just throw it out. I mean,
Nick's is not ugly. No, and the other thing is too, Matt, have you ever read a newspaper? A newspaper is justified on both sides. All right, we gotta put this back up.
you're telling him that you want
Matt's
to
is just wrong, but he's
kind of end
Danish,
your
so
friendship.
that's
Is
okay.
that
He's always
accurate?
No, I didn't want to end our friendship. I just wanted to, I didn't want him to feel obligated to be my friend in order to spare my feelings. I wanted him to only be my friend if that was his desire to be, not because he felt he had to be.
What is this now?
That's djungelvrål. Now you can see a bit of the candies down
Okay,
here.
yeah. Yeah, I see them.
Yeah.
Is that the salty, peppery stuff?
No.
No? Oh, God. Okay. We'll try it.
Yeah.
You say that, in contrast, you weren't private or secretive about your friendship with him. Is that what you're telling us here?
Yeah, there's a typo, I think, in the second sentence, but yeah, I was not ashamed to call him my friend.
You said, you even go specifically at
I'm
the
the only
bottom
one
of the
that
page, you
still
say, you
reads the
see,
paper.
I have no shame in being your friend.
It's an ancient
Were you under the
thing.
impression that Travis was ashamed of having you as a friend?
I got that impression from him about abuses.
Okay. If anyone ever tried to guilt me or judge me, you would put them in their place. You were proud of Travis. You cared about him, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't let anyone say anything
Right
negative about
and
him.
left. And left.
In
Right
fact,
and left.
you didn't really like to say anything negative about him or to him, did you?
That's correct.
And this was in May 2008, right?
Yes.
Ooh, my Halloween costume arrived.
You tell him that you care very much about your happiness and well-being.
Parts of mine have arrived.
Still meant a
too.
lot to you at that time too, right?
Yeah, I cared about him.
DHL, that I keep forgetting between times I use DHL that they are complete garbage. Instead of using the pickup spot that is maybe 50 minutes away, they placed it in a pickup spot that is 90 minutes away.
Well, of course, it's DHL.
Yeah.
DHL is horrible. It used to be domestic here, and now they only do international stuff.
Mm.
So much so it sounds like that you were willing to sacrifice or at least back off of your friendship if it was better for him.
I wasn't sure specifically what that might have entailed, but I wanted him to know that I didn't want him to feel the stress that he might have felt just by being my friend.
You also
I'm trying to
say,
spot the audience, and
I
they
love
keep
you.
showing the wrong side when I look.
and I will always be here for you as your friend and confidant. May 16, 2008, you say you love him, right?
Yes,
Did you mean that?
of course.
Did you also mean the part where you say you'll always be here as his friend and confidant?
Yes.
After Mr. Alexander received this message, you recall what the next form of contact was? Did you speak on the phone, text message, email? Do you recall?
When I began composing that email, we were already chatting and he was already irritated over something. So I told him, I think it was about the subject of the link on his website. So that was another thing that just made me think he doesn't want to be public even about our friendship. So that's when I said, well, I told him, hold on, I'm
No,
writing
he
an
doesn't
email.
want
So I wrote
to,
out the
woman.
email. He was upset at the prospect of receiving the email because he's wanted to know why I would send him an email about something that that I know is going to make him upset. And I explained to him that whether or not it makes you upset, you're my friend and this is something I have to tell you. So I made that email. I didn't think it was very mean or aggressive or
Made
hostile,
the
but
email.
he took offense to it and it led
You didn't
to
write it
another
or
fight.
draft it. She made it.
Now you say this led to another fight. Was this fight a verbal fight or was this in some other fashion?
It was just an argument that took place over that same chat conversation, which continued.
And is this the one where he calls you a three-hole wonder and a slut?
No, this is a different one.
Okay. Do you recall what he says to you in this conversation?
Not particularly. He was just very upset, mean, and well, not as mean as he's been or would be afterward, but He claimed that he didn't get what I was trying to say. And he said, are you trying to say I should put a link up? And I said, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. Reread it. And he said, I read it twice and I still don't get it. I said, well, I don't see how more plainly I can explain it to you. So
that's kind of sad, isn't it?
Okay. Did you speak, did the two of you have a phone conversation after this email was sent?
I clicked out of the window before he could type anything else that was going to be mean. And that made him mad because it was sort of the equivalent of hanging up on him. And we either started texting or talking on the phone. I don't remember which. And it was just a little more of the fight until it tapered off or we stopped communicating for that time being.
And you say tapered off. You've told us in the past that these arguments, disagreements wound up in the end turning to of a sexual nature. Did that happen this time?
I don't remember on that particular one how it ended.
Did you want to do that?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take the evening recess at this time. Please be back tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Remember the admonition. Have a nice evening. You are excused.
All right. That's the end of day 18. Do we want to go into day 19 now or start that next time? What do you think? Oh, you're muted, Nick.
Better start a new day on a new day.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Wow, that was tremendously underwhelming. But we have Jodi's legs.
Yeah, but imagine that kind of boring, but not as pretty. She would never get laid.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But would she have developed better personality if she wasn't looking like that? That's kind of the question. Or would she have just been one of those crazy, ugly people?
Well, today she would have made bank on a podcast instead.
She would have, definitely. But she is a special kind of immature kind of woman that you guys need to stay away from.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't really grow up. Very underwhelming. Yeah, I agree. Very underwhelming. Oh, absolutely. Let's see. I'm the forgotten one also. Jodi. This Jodi is the forgotten one? I don't know. I think the chat's talking about something else. She is an easily forgotten girl. Yeah, for all the sensationalism that surrounded this case and the media coverage and all of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had her pictures and stuff, but her testimony is boring on direct. I give that 100% credit to her attorney, though, not necessarily to her. Although she does go on her tangents, and they're really hard to follow, and I just sort of zone out and forget exactly what she's saying. I don't even know what she said on her last tangent. All I could think of, stop talking.
Yeah, I mean, I zoned out a bit, and not really. Just that piece when she told on herself.
Oh, yeah. When she told on herself. Yeah, she asked for those. And she definitely did. We've heard the sex tapes. We know she did. And I think there's a reason why. That's what I kept asking for with the defense is why are we not seeing these text messages? You're asking her to talk about them, but you're not showing them because I guarantee there's stuff in there that's damning to her. That's why they're not showing them.
Yeah, and I would assume that the prosecution has singled out 20, 40, 50 of them where she actually asks for certain things. I would. Oh, Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can we hear as a girl guy just wait, what? Hang on.
Dave is prolonging this because I have more thumbs up than he has.
What do I have? Damn it. Everyone go jump over to my stream and give me a thumbs up.
Everybody
you
go
have
over to my
two
stream.
more than I do. Yeah, but I beat you on the super chats. You beat me on the member gifts.
Yeah.
And so I can't lose the thumbs up. Everyone needs to go over right now. Oh, all right. Here we go. 51. Do we have 52? We have 52. Anyone got a 52? One more.
Everybody
thumbs up
go
on
over
my
to
side.
my page, my channel, and give me the thumbs up.
Oh,
You know
there we
I
go.
deserve.
52. We're even. That means it's a draw. Have a good day.
The state of Arizona versus
Oh, 54. It kept coming. You should have let me end it.
Oh, too late. It's
Thanks,
a draw.
everybody. Nick, what do you got coming up?
Tomorrow on the Rumble only, I have closing arguments in the Jeffrey Dahmer trial. And so I'm not entirely sure when I will start that stream, but I will tell everybody it will be in the community section on my channel. I will post the link to Rumble. And the reason why I have it on Rumble only is because YouTube really hates me doing serial killer stuff. And so it gave me more or less no choice. So it's exclusively on Rumble. So go over there and follow me on Rumble. We already declared it a draw, but thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you.
Puts Nick in the lead. Well, see, I'm okay with that because I got more likes than. So we're still even. We even.
Yeah.
That's good. Very cool.
Oh.
By the way, just for everyone who's looking forward
Someone gave me a dislike?
What? I think that was for me.
Yeah.
Don't get dislikes. Well, actually, they all interact with YouTube. YouTube might actually promote you a little bit if we get a little more dislikes. Like, these guys they're paying to get their likes.
Yeah.
Oh, some dislikes. All right, we'll pay attention.
That's that on David first.
I was gonna say, so my Lego stream with Valhalla and Steve Gosney tonight has been pushed back from 8 o'clock to 9:30 for scheduling reasons, but we're still gonna go at 9:30, so that's gonna be awesome. So look forward to that. And if you are a member, a new member, an old member, check out the Discord link on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to start Hunt a Killer, which is it's a murder mystery game where you have clues, documents, and things like that, and you actually have to solve a mystery. So there's 6 boxes in each series. We're going to start with box 1 on Sunday at 7. Finally, we're going to start that, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then we're also going to do another sunny stream. It's always sunny in Philadelphia stream coming up once Jamie's done curating the videos we're going to watch, the episodes.
Yeah. Who are we redirecting to today?
Oh, Salvador. Mine's set up for Salvador. He's going with some more peen action with what's his name? I can't remember the name of that defendant. But yeah, you guys are all heading over there. I don't know if he started yet or not. No, he's starting in 28 minutes. Peens of Our Lives is the episode. It's a Mark Jensen trial, part 5. Peens of Our Lives.
Yeah. For you who don't know, Mark Jensen drew diagrams of peens. Because
a lot of them.
And that's one of these. Maybe we should point Mark Jensen towards Jodi.
Yeah, right. Well, they're in different states in lockup, but they could be pen pals.
Yeah,
that could work. They could send each other drawings. We have Jodi's legs, and he could draw his peens, and they can exchange. Yeah. But thanks everybody for joining us. Even though Jodi's boring, we have a lot of fun. Yeah. And looking forward to the cross coming up. We'll do day 19 on Tuesday, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button on both of our channels so you get the notifications. And tell your friends. Invite them over.
Share it on social media and stuff like that. If you have social media, we wouldn't mind at all.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time for Jodi Day.
Yep.
Bye. State of Arizona versus Jodi Arias, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder.